Good morning, everybody. Today is 6th of November 2020. The day is Friday. My name is Ferhan Mazher, and right now I am with the 10 Cambridge class. Today's task is to prepare for the assessment which will be held in December, and the topic which we will give to our students for the December exam will be light, and maybe if we are able to prepare waves also, we may include both the chapters. So mainly the chapter will be light. So today is an effort to prepare the students for that assessment, and we are going to master the concepts which are in the chapter of light. So it's a worksheet which I have taken from a website. The name of the website is savemyexam.co.uk. So this worksheet I have taken from that website. So let's start, G. It has a lot of questions. So today we might be able to do half of this thing, and half of the other thing we will do in the next Friday. Okay. So on your screen, here you can see on your screen. Let me check. I have taken out paint also. Okay, that's good. So light is incident on a mirror. The light is reflected from the mirror. The angle of incidence is I and the angle of reflection is R. Which diagram correctly shows I and R? You know, the angle of incidence is between the normal and the incident ray, and the angle of reflection is the angle between the normal and the reflected ray. So which diagram is the correct diagram, where the I and R has been labeled on the correct position? So what you say?
C. C.
B cannot be the answer, ma'am. I told you that the angle of incidence is angle
Sir, C
between.
कह रहे हैं.
Okay, so C is the right option. This is the normal, and this is the incident ray. The angle between the incident ray and the normal, that's the angle of incidence. And the angle between the reflected ray, this reflected ray, and the normal, that's the angle of reflection. So C is the right option. So C is the right option. You understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Which length is the focal length of the lens shown in the diagram? Okay. It's a convex lens. And you know, if a light ray moves parallel to the principal axis, after passing through the lens, it is converged. It is converged on the principal axis. So where it touches the principal axis, here. So this point here, that is the principal focus. That's the principal focus. So the distance between the optical center of the lens and the principal focus, that distance represents the focal length. So the right choice will be B. Do you understand this concept?
Yes, sir. Sir, मुझे समझ नहीं आई.
You see, what is the focal length? Focal length is the distance between the optical center of the lens and the principal focus. So which point is the optical center? Is this point, the center of the lens. And what is the principal focus here?
F1.
F1, yes, we are looking for F1.
Okay, sir, समझ आ गई, ठीक है.
Okay, so we can move to the next question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me reduce the size. Light passes from air into a glass block of refractive index 1.5 as shown. What is the angle of refraction in the glass, and what is the critical angle? You know, he's asking you two questions, and they both involve calculation. So let me take out that box. So we do the calculation. Okay, the refractive index is given. You know, the formula for the refractive index is N is equals to sine I divided by sine R. You know that formula? Do you know that formula?
Yes,
Refractive
sir.
index is equals to sine I by sine R. In the numerator, we always put that angle which is in the air, whether it is angle of incidence or it is angle of refraction. The angle of incidence is 57. The n value, the refractive index, is also given 1.5. So it will be 1.5 and equals to sine of what sine of 57 and divided by sine of R. Sine of R, if you cross multiply it, so sine of R will go to the left side. So you will have sine of R equals to sine of 57 and divided by 1.5. So let me get this answer for you. I have a calculator, scientific calculator with me. So I will do this sine of 57 divided by 1.5. The answer is 0.559. The answer is 0.559. But I want the value of the R. So R, if I will make the R alone, the sine will go on the other side. So I will take sine inverse of 0.559. On your calculator, you will write shift sine. This will show sine inverse. Then write 0.559. I will say answer and equals to the answer I am getting is 33.99. So approximately 34. So the angle of refraction in the glass block should be 34 degrees. That's the one question. So the correct option is either A or B. The next thing which he asked is, what is the critical angle? That also involves another formula. You know, the refractive index n is equals to 1 divided by sine of the critical angle, sine C. N is equals to 1 by sine C. This is another formula for the critical angle. N is equals to 1 divided by sine C. Just I want to calculate the value of the C, critical angle. So n value is so bring the sine C to this side. Sine of critical angle is equals to 1 divided by n. So just put the values in it. 1 divided by the n value, the refractive index, that's 1.5. So let me do the calculation. So on your calculator, write 1 divided by 1.5. The answer is 0.67. So now on the next step, I want the value of the critical angle. So this sine will go on the other side. When it will go on the other side, it will become sine inverse. So on your calculator, you will say shift sine and you will see sine inverse will appear. Shift sine answer. The answer is 0.67 and equals to. The final answer is 41.8 degrees. So it's approximately 42 degrees. So the critical angle is 42 degree and the angle of refraction is 34 degrees. So the choice is A. Choice is A. Do you understand this calculation? It's a very, very tricky question. It involves two formulas. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So A is the choice. Question number 4 is on your screen. The diagram shows light incident on a plane mirror. Which row gives the angle of reflection and the name of the line PQ? The PQ is called normal. The PQ line is called normal, and the angle of reflection, will be equals to the angle of incidence. The angle of incidence in this diagram is 40. So angle of reflection will be also 40 degree. So the angle of reflection will be 40 degree, and the PQ line is called normal.
A.
So the A is the right option. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Very tricky question. Very, very tricky question. The rays of light from a ray box passes through 3 lenses placed at position 1, 2, and 3. So here we have a length. Here we have a length. And here we have a lens. So there are 3 lenses. You have to decide what type of lens is used at each position. You have to decide whether it's a converging lens or diverging lens on all the 3 positions. You have to decide. It's easy but tricky. Look at here. So the light rays were going like this, if you check the original path of the light rays, but they bended inward. If I can take this to the
Sir, C हो सकता है answer.
I don't know the A, B, or C. I will decide. Let me take it to the that paint thing, and there we will. Let me take a new one. Paste. Okay. So you see. Okay. Now try to understand how I came to know that which lens is being used. So that's the red is the original path of the light, but when it passed through the lens, it bended downward. So here a converging lens is used because the light rays bended towards the principal axis. So a converging lens is used here. Okay, let's check what happens on the position B. Now on the position B, that's the original track of the light. Again, you can see on the position number 2, the light further bended towards the principal axis. So that means that a converging lens is being used here. Okay. So let's move to the next position. Let me change the color. Okay. So here the light was on this track. This is the original path of the light. This is the original path of the light. But this green is showing the original path of the light, but you can see the light has not followed this path. It has moved away from the principal axis. That means a diverging lens is used here. It's a very tricky question. It needs a concept. So on position 1, converging lens is used. On position number 2, a converging lens is used. On position number 3, a diverging lens is used. Do you understand this process, that how I came to know that which kind of lens is used here?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Converging, diverging. That is the option G. Converging, diverging. So what's the choice?
B, sir.
So B is the right choice. Converging, diverging. Very tricky question. You see, you have to actually work with the scale and the pencil on that diagram. I hope it's clear to you.
सर तो मतलब जिस डायरेक्शन में लाइट पहले जा रही होगी लेंस गुजरने से पहले, तो उसी डायरेक्शन में अगर वो ना जा रही हुई तो उसका मतलब वो कन्वर्ज कर रही है.
No.
और उस
If it
डायरेक्शन
bends
से
towards the principal axis, it means it has converged. It bended. If it bends away from the principal axis, then it means it has diverged.
ओके सर
Okay. Light passes from air into a block of glass as shown. Which expression is equal to the refractive index? Refractive index can be sine I by sine R, or refractive index can be sine R by sine I. The thumb rule is that you always, in the numerator, you always put that angle which is in the rare medium. So angle of incidence here is W, and the angle of refraction here is Y. Angle of incidence is in the air, so that should be in the numerator. So the correct formula for the refracting index should be N equals to sine W divided by sine Y. Sine W divided by sine Y. So what's the choice?
ए
A. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we are on the question number 7. A ray of light is incident on the surface of a glass block as shown in the diagram below. The refractive index of the glass is 1.5. The light ray changes direction when entering the glass. What is the angle x through which the ray moves? Okay, very tricky question. It involves your concepts of mathematics as well. You know, let me make here. Let me write. Okay, a little tricky one. Okay, so this angle is not angle of incidence. Remember, this is the angle of incidence. This whole angle is 90. This is 45, so this will be also 45. Okay, so the angle of incidence is also 45. But the 45 he has shown is not the angle of incidence. The angle of incidence is here, because the whole angle is 90. So for 90 minus 45, so this will be 45. So the angle of incidence is 45. Let me first of all calculate the angle of reflection. That is the angle of reflection. So you know that N equals to sine of I. That's the sine of 45 divided by sine of R, which I need to calculate, sine of R. And I know the refractive index. The refractive index is how much? 1.5. So in the place of N, I can put that value 1.5. I will rearrange this thing. So the sine R will come upstairs on the other side. So equals to sine 45 divided by 1.5. So we will do this calculation on the calculator. On your calculator, write sine 45 divided by 1.5 equals to. So my answer is 0.47. And in the next step, I will make the R alone. And R will be equals to, the sine will go on the other side. It will become sine inverse. So shift sine answer equals to. So the R angle will be 28.1 degrees. So the angle of refraction will be 28. But very, very important. Look, let me increase the size. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. You have studied in your mathematics that the angle between the two lines, intersecting lines, we call it the vertically opposite angle. This angle is 45. You know that? This angle is 45. So the angle, this whole angle will be also 45. We call it the vertically opposite angle. So this x and the angle of refraction, that should be equals to 45. So angle x plus the angle r, sorry, plus angle r should be equals to 45. I know the value of the r, that is 28, and so equals to 45. So the rx value will be equals to 45 minus 28. 45 minus 28. And the answer is 17. So this x value will be 17. The value of the x will be 17. So C is the choice. The C is the right choice. Very, very tricky question. It involves the concepts of physics. It involves the concepts of mathematics. Do you understand this process?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. So question number 7, the right option is 17. I hope that everybody has understood the process. And let's move to the next question. Question number 8 is on your screen. An image is formed by a thin converging lens when it is used as a magnifying glass. What is the correct description of the image? When you use the converging lens as a magnifying glass, the object is placed inside the focal length. The image formed is virtual. The image formed is upright. The image formed is magnified. The image formed is erect. So, what is the right option?
C.
C is the right option. Virtual and erect and magnified. So, the right option is C. Virtual and erect.
सर आप ये पेपर पोस्ट करेंगे गूगल क्लासरूम पे?
जी सर.
I will.
Okay, sir.
It has lot of questions. Today we will be only able to solve, I think, few questions. Next Friday we will work further on this sheet. Okay, so don't worry. A ray of light travels from X to Y along an optical fiber. The angle of incidence at Y is greater than the critical angle. In which direction does the ray of light travel after reaching the point Y? This is an optical fiber, and in the optical fiber, the light is traveling, and when it collides this surface of the optical fiber, he has told us that the angle of incidence here is more than the critical angle. So the process of total internal reflection should take place. If the angle of incidence in the dense medium is more than the critical angle, then the process of total internal reflection will take place. The light will not go into the second medium, but the light will be reflected from the boundary. So the light should be reflected. So what should be the path of the light? I think C is the right option. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Question number 9, C is the right option. Okay, we are on the question number 10. A ray of light in glass is incident on the surface of an angle C. The angle C is the critical angle. Which diagram shows what happens to the light? If the angle of incidence in the dense medium like glass is equals to the critical angle, the light will start traveling on the surface of the boundary of the glass and air. So where, in which diagram the light is traveling on the surface of the boundary? D is the right option. D is the right option. The total internal reflection, kind of total internal reflection will start. The light will not go into the second medium. If the angle of incidence is equal to the critical angle, the light will not go into the second medium. It will travel on the boundary between the glass and the air, and maybe partially reflection also takes place. So D is the best option given. Which statement about red light and blue light is correct? Okay, so let me introduce you to that. You already know that that code word, Roy G. Biv. You know that?
Yes, sir.
So the code word is Roy G. Biv. You know, Roy G. Biv means red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Okay, these are the names of the colors. In this list, if you go downward, the frequency will increase. He's talking about red and blue. The frequency of the blue is more than the frequency of the red. Okay, but in list, when you go downward from red to violet, the wavelength decreases, the frequency increases, the wavelength decreases. So let us check the options. Red light has a higher frequency than the blue light. That's wrong. Red light has a longer wavelength than the blue light. Yes, that's true. Red light has the same speed in glass as the blue light. That's wrong. In glass, they have different speeds. Red light is refracted by a glass prism more than the blue light. No. Red light is refracted less by the prism. That's why the blue color is below the red color when the prism do make the spectrum. So red light has a longer wavelength than blue light. That looks the right option, sir. So what do you think?
B, sir.
B, sir.
B is the right option, man. Okay. Question number 12 is on your screen. A ray of light in a transparent medium of refractive index 1.8 is incident on the surface as shown. The light enters air. What is the angle between the refracted ray and the normal in the air? So he wants you to find out the angle of refraction. But angle of refraction this time is in air. Let me have a box here. So, you know, the refractive index N is equals to, in this case, the sign R will be upstairs, and the sign of, sorry, sign I will be downstairs. Do you understand this? Because in this formula, in the numerator, we always put that angle which is in the air or which is in the rare medium. So here the angle of refraction will be in the rare medium. So the R, sign R should be upstairs. It should be in the numerator. So the refractive index is 1.8 and equals to R, I want to know, sorry, R, I want to know divided by the sign of the angle of incidence in the dense medium is 30. Okay, so just rearrange it. It will be 1.8 and it's multiplied with the sine of 30, and that will be equals to sine of R. Okay, so let me do this on the calculator. 1.8 multiply sine of 30, and the answer is 0.9. So 0.9 equals to sine of R. If I will make R alone, the sine will go on the other side and it will become sine inverse. So sine on your calculator, shift sine 0.9 and the answer is 64.2 degrees. So the angle of refraction will be
B.
64.2. So D is the choice. But do you understand this calculation and the
Yes, sir.
Yes,
concept
sir.
I'm using? You understand?
Yes, sir.
So D is the right choice, ma'am. Okay. So here we have. An object is viewed through a converging lens. The diagram shows path of two rays from the top of the object to an eye. How does the image compared with the object? The image will be formed here, the image will be formed here. So this image is on the same side as that the object is to the lens. So this image is virtual image. This image will be upright. This image will
और
be
larger
erect.
होगा.
And this image will be magnified. It means the image will be larger. So what is the
B.
right option? It's a magnifying glass. Yes.
B.
B, sir.
Is larger and upright. That's true. So the choice is B. Okay, so here we go. Question number 14. The diagram shows a two divergent ray of light from an object O being reflected from a plane mirror. At which position is the image formed? Okay, so let me take this diagram to the paint so I can show you how actually we do that. Let me take a new one. Paste. There we go. So how we will do this? With the help of the pencil and let me choose the color, blue color. Okay. So this line which came from the object, I will prolong it behind the mirror. Okay. And this reflected ray, okay, I will change the color. This reflected ray, I will prolong it behind the mirror. This is what you have to do if you have the hard copy of that paper. You see, this ray, I prolonged it behind the mirror, and this reflected ray, I prolonged it behind the mirror. Where these two lines intersect, there you will see the image of object. So the answer is B. The answer is B. Do you understand this? So B is the right choice.
सर C और D क्यों नहीं?
The method of locating the image in a plane mirror is that we prolong the reflected rays behind the mirror. And wherever those reflected rays intersect each other, we will see the image at that location. So one reflected ray is this one, which went back to the object, and one reflected ray is this one, which went to the observer. So I prolonged them both, and they intersected each other at the position B. So, it means that the image will be seen at the position B. The image is not seen at the position A, neither on C nor on D. So the right answer will be B. What do you say? Okay, so B is the right option. So B is the right option. Okay. Okay. So this is the last question of today. We will continue this worksheet on the next Friday. 3 rays of light are incident on the boundary between a glass block and air. The angles of incident are different. What is the possible critical angle? You see here, you can see it's glass and this is air. The angle of incident is 20 and the light entered into the air. When the angle of incidence is 40, still the light is entering into the air. When the angle of incidence is 50, the process of total internal reflection has taken place. It means that the angle of the critical angle is more than 40 and less than 50. So from the given options, the critical angle can
45.
be that angle which is more than 40 but less than 50.
45, sir. 6C.
45.
45. So C is the right choice. Do you understand this concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's enough for today. The chapter we were doing was light. We were working on the MCQs of light. Today we are able to complete only 15 questions of this worksheet. This worksheet is very technical. I hope that these 15 questions are helpful to you. And so today was 6th November 2020. The day was Friday, and we were studying physics. We were working on the MCQs of the topic light, and the subject is Physics 5054. My name is Ferhan Mazher. I was with the 10 Cambridge class, and so we will continue this in another video, in another lecture. Hopefully, on next Friday, we will continue with these questions, and we will make sure that you understand these concepts. So have a good day, and God bless you all.